No one would ever come down and fish on the chalk streams without a few Sawyer's pheasant tails. In fact, my own box, I've got a nice little row of probably a dozen there and an 18. Sawyer's pheasant tail nymph has become rightly famous throughout the entire fly fishing world. It and its derivatives. I mean, it's tied in large sizes for reservoirs, but in actual fact, it's become the universal fly. It covers lots and lots of natural insects. Originally, Frank tied it to copy the ephemeropterans, the free-swimming or the agile darting nymphs, such as the olives and the spurwings. Well, the olives actually, the spurwings are used as the grey goose. The fly itself is very simple to tie, but a lot of people don't make such a good job of it. So we're going to do one. I'm going to show you the proper way to tie them. He uses two basic materials, and two only, and that's herl from a centre tail feather of a cock pheasant and fine red coloured copper transformer wire. What it does say, however, and this you must take note of, it says that the wire he uses is a little thicker than a human hair. So you don't want this thick stuff. If you get thick wire, you won't get a neat nymph. It won't have a nice tapered abdomen. And I've also got some here that's not much thicker, but this is self-coloured. So what you want to look for is the stuff that's red lacquered. Also, when you get your pheasant tail fibres, when you get your pheasant centre tails, look at the length of that fibre. That fibre length there is critical because you're going to do a double wrap, a double lap as he calls it, for the thorax. I've measured this, and if I hold my ruler up here, that fibre length is 2.5 inches. I've been very lucky to find a centre tail with ultra long fibres. It's 2.5 inches, a full 2.5, and you need it. It'll almost be used up. So go for as long fibred feather as you can possibly find. We'll make a start now. The hook I'm using is a size 18 Partridge H1A hook firming device. Knock the barb down first of all. I'm going to take off, well, don't skimp on the wire. Worst thing that can happen is using up before you get to the end. So I'm going to take off about 18 inches. And you'll see it's not very strong when I break it. So you will have to be careful. What you've got to do is you've got to remember to start at the bend. Not at the eye, start at the bend. That's what Sawyer says. Catch on your wire and then cover the shank in even turns. It doesn't say whether it's even touching turns, it just says even, cover the shank evenly, I think is his exact words. So you wind away. It's an absolute masterstroke, is this fly. It just uses two materials, and the wire, in effect, is your tying thread all the way through. So you wind away to a position where you want your pronounced hump to be. So you build the wire up and make this nice even hump, sort of oval shaped. And of course the wire is also the weight, so you get time medium, undercolour and weight all in one go. Probably just a little bit more in the centre where I'm a bit low, there. You wind the wire now, again in even turns, all the way now to the bend. And I'm going to still hold that tag end. And what I do when I get down to there, with this piece, the travelling piece, I'm going to lock over this piece. Come down, come along, that last turn locks over it, and that effectively traps it down, and then I just tweak that off. Now you come to your pheasant tail, and it says 4 fibres. Just separate your 4 fibres from the centre stalk. If you hold them out at right angles, like that, and tweak them off, you should find that the tips are all neatly in line. And then if they're not in line, just find the one that's lagging and just pull it forward. There's two there, so just pull those two forward. Having got your 4 fibres nicely even, just hold the tips. What I do, I just stroke up the flow a little bit, lift the nap. Now, what Sawyer says is that on his nymphs, he likes the tails to project only about 1/8 of an inch. I find it difficult to hold these 1/8 of an inch tips. You'll find that you'll pull them out, and it's a pest, is that. So what I do is this: hold the wire up, get hold of more than 1/8. I hold about almost 3/4, and trap with those 2 fingers. And now look, I'm able to lock them down on top of the shank, right where I want them. Right on top of the shank, right at the end of the shank. So there's my tails, very, very long. Now what I do, I simply draw them through, hold all the 4 butts, draw them through until you've got your tails 1/8 of an inch long. Come with one more turn on top. Tails are now perfectly in line with the hook shank and nicely spread under tension of the wire. And now he says, wrap the remaining hurl round the wire. So you just twist these, twist and twist and twist until they go around the copper wire. Keeping the wire under tension all the time, otherwise your tails will lose their nice alignment. Now he says, wind this on, wind the hurl on evenly to produce a nice, even, smooth, and you should have a tapering body. You wind along, look how it's using the hurl up. You go all the way along, go over the thoracic hump. And now he says, separate the hurls from the wire. They'll fly apart, so make one turn there to lock them. And now, his instructions are, take the wire now back to behind the thoracic hump. And he doesn't say whether it's in several turns or one turn. I think his intention is to take it back in one fell swoop. So I go back there and drop the wire. Then he says, take the remaining hurls back and lock down. And then he says, take the hurls forward again for the second lap. But what he doesn't say is, do you take the wire forward first or afterwards? I think he implies that you take the wire from the back of the thorax straight forward in one go, hook under the eye. Now bring the hurls forward and lock down again for the last time. Your thorax is a double layer of the hurls. One's back and one's forward. I take my scissors and I'll just neatly cut off that waist. And then I'm going to use this Practical Countryman. I'm sure he wouldn't have minded the odd dab of super glue. I do the old trick of just anointing a little bit of the wire. Just run this down the wire and make about 1 inch of it just moist with super glue, and then finish with your 6 turns. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And now a bit more weight on the wire and it breaks off. Done. That's the nymph. Just one place you've got to watch, and that's catching down your wire when you tie your tails in. Otherwise, it's dead easy.